From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Harriet Agbeyi.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, shock and disbelief as an underground kidnapper's den is uncovered by the Imo State Police Command in southeast Nigeria. Once again, the health minister appeals to striking medical doctors to resume work in the interest of suffering patients. The Bring Back Our Girls campaigners raise alarm over attempts online to frustrate their effort towards rescuing the Chibok girls. And Ukraine accuses pro-Russian rebels of attempting to destroy evidence of international crimes at the crash site of the Malaysian airliner MH17.
And on business news tonight, market watchers expect key rates to remain unchanged as the 239th meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria begins on Monday.
On sports news, Caterpillars shock Mark Mentors 89-88 to retain the DSTV Premier League basketball title.
We begin tonight in Imo State, southeast Nigeria, where the state police says it's steadily winning the war against crime. At this time, the command has discovered a building used by kidnappers in Ikeduru local government area of the state. During a visit by newsmen to the building, which looks deserted and abandoned, the Imo State Commissioner for Police, Abdulmajid Ali, said the building with an underground hideout had 8 bedrooms and was being used by suspected kidnappers to keep their victims.
It took the convoy over 3 hours from Owerri, the state capital, through the thick bush and untarred road to get to the kidnappers' den located at Umuchima in Oku, an autonomous community in Ikeduru local government area of the state. Taking a first look at this place, one will never imagine that there is something more to this quiet compound until you descend through this square hole. Spine-chilling, spooky, dark, and scary. The villagers also share some light on the ownership of the building.
The owner of the house, like I heard, is not living for now, but he has a brother that resides in Port Harcourt, as I heard.
The owner of this house have died. We know that he built underground there. Since my life, or even that time he's building that place, we are small that time, so we cannot enter this house, such a place. We are fearing him because he's somebody which you cannot understand.
The police say they were able to uncover this dungeon through a combination of intelligence and collaboration.
The kidnappers use this place to keep their victim. You can see we have more than 8 rooms on the ground because it's an underground place, and at the top you cannot notice anything, but when you go down you find out that there's a lot of rooms who have more than 8 rooms in it. We have rescued almost 2 or 3 from here, and it should most of our tracking, pinpoint this particular area.
The next step is to demolish the buildings. The police boss adds that it will not relent in the battle.
Some of these houses are right inside the bush. Person can be kept here without knowing, it can be kept here for a long time. Nobody knows what goes on here. So we are going to carry out the war, continuously searching some of these uncompleted buildings, some of these abandoned buildings, in order to ensure that people of Imo State, live in peace. People of Imo State are free of the bad guys coming in. They are not from here. They are from other states coming here, and chose Imo State to be a place they can keep their victim. We will never allow that.
Just a month ago, the state government gave directives that all abandoned property or uncompleted buildings which have been left for long without giving any attention by owners will be taken over by the government. That's exactly what the people of Imo State expect government to do in this case.
Well, the Bring Back Our Girls campaigners in Abuja have asked their members not to be distracted by the ongoing Twitter war against Washington-based public relations firm Levick. There have been criticisms of the firm's action through the hashtag Someone Tell Levick is allegedly aimed at frustrating the Bring Back Our Girls campaign. The group is insisting that the Twitter war will only deviate attention from the original campaign, which is the release of the over 200 schoolgirls abducted.
It's all about bring back our girls. It's not about any whatever insults. Right now we've said it several times. We are ready to accept whatever insult, insinuation, allegations, castigation, whatever it is, as far as for the Chibok girls. Nothing else matters. So even if I'm insulted, it's good. It's all about the Chibok girls. The Bring Back Our Girls is there, right? So that's what we need to focus on. Because right now, I think even on the Twitter, we are losing that focus. We are talking more about the $1.2 million that was paid. That's their business. Levick is running a business. And right now, I think they're succeeding in what they're doing. Because we are now dealing more with the song. Is it Someone Tell Levick than Bring Back Our Girls? And we need to focus on the reason why we are here. We need to focus on the reason why it's 81 days. 81 days we are still coming out here. Putting it in writing, it makes it more significant that they won't be here before the 100. We should be holding somebody responsible for this. So it's not whatever somebody is doing, paid so much money for PR, image laundry, let them be doing that. But at the end of the day, let's just remember we are here for one thing, which is the Chibok girls. That's what should be trending. Is it trending? They call it. That's what we should be writing. You find that there are some people that ordinarily before, in a day, they would have written like 50 Bring Back Our Girls. Now it's barely 5 because we are busy fighting other people. We are busy fighting Levick. We are busy fighting who and who. If you have to do that, just make sure that the first thing you write is the Bring Back Our Girls hashtag. Then whatever story you want, put it there. If it's not okay, leave it, go to the next one, put the Bring Back Our Girls first and continue. We need to focus.
To other issues now, and as a nationwide indefinite strike action by medical doctors in public hospitals in Nigeria enters day 18, the Minister of Health has again appealed to the striking doctors to go back to work. In an interview with our correspondent Yomi Otaigbe, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu said the federal government has made efforts to accommodate most of the demands made by the doctors.
Government signed an initial MOU with the NMA on the 26th from a meeting that started on the 25th. Both parties signed, so we thought that was a good agreement, but they reneged on it and insisted they would go on strike. Government came back, sat with them again for 10 hours, making a total of 24 hours. Another MOU was signed, and we thought, okay, now thank God this was all over. And again, they've reneged on it. I think it has to do with this rivalry, as it were, with a non-physician group in the health sector, which I think is unfortunate. We are still working with them, and honestly, with the government is actually showing a lot of patience. I know government can't also go beyond a certain period. If government keeps being pushed to the wall, I'm sure they will bounce back, but I think we are trying to not to get to that level. So I'm still pleading with my colleagues, the doctors, go back to work. Government is attending to your needs.
Nigeria's Minister of Health, Professor Onyebuchi Chukwu. Well, indeed, improving Nigeria's health sector requires a collaborative effort. Participants at the ongoing meeting of the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas agree that government must, however, create an enabling environment for medical investment. Our correspondent, Yomi Otaigbe, who's covering the meeting in Southern California, United States of America, reports.
In developed countries such as the United States of America, healthcare systems are well laid out with health services made available by both the government and the private sector. But in Nigeria, there's a huge gap when it comes to public-private investment in healthcare.
Other healthcare providers
Filling up this gap is what this panel of discussants seeks to address. Members of the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas formed the audience. Taking turns, the panelists, made up of Nigerian government official, legal and medical practitioners, as well as investment advisor, looked at the challenges and the changes that will positively turn things around.
Medical tourism. We have $1 billion getting out of the country every year in cost of care that is being sought abroad. And that means there's demand that is not satisfied locally and it goes out.
You know that it's a legal and regulatory framework that attracts investments. If there is any revolution in the telecoms industry today, in part today, it actually rests in the enabling law, which is why at least for healthcare, this is a good start. And what's going to happen is that anybody who wants to come and invest will ask the critical questions. How do I take my money in? How safe is it? And how do I get it out?
Naira terms, 4.1 trillion Naira investment, not only by the public sector, but by, private sector and public sector was required to get to where we're to be. But certainly if we're going to get the private sector to be much interested, financing must be predictable, it must be sustainable, and the administration must be easy. So there's ongoing work at different levels.
If you can pull 1,500 to do $10,000 alone, ample fund by next year when we come here, we'll possibly have $15 million. Now, if we do that, if we can do that, and we create a business case and a lobbying force, we can then go to Honorable Minister, sir, and say we have put our money where our mouth is.
Members of the audience do have their concerns, but overall, they seem to agree that there are opportunities to be harnessed in Nigeria's health sector.
As large and centralized as this federal government is, its impact at the local level is more limited. So I think working with a state government or even an NGO or a smaller local government might be an easier way to get into that space.
Many here believe that to solve most of the economic, social and healthcare challenges in Nigeria, government needs to apply the necessary political will to drive through the entire power sector reform process. From the 2014 annual meeting of the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, holding in Anaheim, California, Yomi Otaigbe reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, in part two, after the break, we're still going to be talking health. The medical experts say everyone is bound to experience cataract at some point in their life, but there's something you can do that may delay its occurrence. We'll let you know what that is in a moment. Please stay with us.